That is absolutely jarring. I hate this so much. Goodness gracious. Welcome, folks, to another edition of the USF Roundup. It is a Steeg solo show this evening. My partner, my cohort, my buddy, my pal, Anthony Vito, is currently in Italy with his lovely wife on a little honeymoon, a very late honeymoon. So he's get some well-deserved time off from dealing with USF Athletics for a little bit. So it is just me this week. And after a little ordeal, I think that I can probably say that, of what happened on Monday and Tuesday of this week, we are back to our regularly scheduled program, albeit a little bit of a tweak of what the schedule is going to kind of look like. We're not really going to touch on the men's basketball situation right now because there's a lot of stuff that I want to leave for Nate and for Seth and for the traditional Illuminati podcast there. So not going to touch the men's basketball stuff right there. Rest assured, when we do finally get I guess what we need at this point is now the official announcement from the University of South Florida Athletics page. We will do a live show for that, for whomever the head basketball coach is. But for now, it is just Steeg tonight. We are here to talk about the Olympic sports surrounding USF Athletics, and we're just gonna kind of dive on in. We're gonna try to do a tight 30 minutes here. We got Survivor tonight at 8:00, so this episode of the Roundup is going to feature a lot more Survivor references, maybe a few Steely Dan references. Who knows? We'll see how this continues onward and upward for us. But I wasn't going to talk about women's basketball because there usually isn't anything to talk about for women's basketball in the offseason. But Jose Fernandez, USF's head basketball coach for women's, doesn't sleep and apparently wanted to hit the recruiting trail ASAP and already has a new crew. Lo and behold, less than 2 days after their season ended, they're already reloading for next year. And you can see what they're trying to do here with this recruit. Her name is Romy Levy. She is originally from Auburn and by way of Israel. So kind of marking off two stones with one basket here, just getting an international recruit and transfer at the same time, one that comes with a little bit of experience playing in the SEC. She did tear her ACL in 2021, 2022, which would be her sophomore season. So she has that red shirt going for her right now. But last season, she averaged 6.7 points per game and 4.2 rebounds per game. Let me tell you, this chick is lengthy. She is 6'3", and I think, going off of the stats that I know off the top of my head, Dulcie was 6'4", and I'm fairly certain Romy here has quite a bigger wingspan than Dulcie. Has a completely different style too, and you know, Dulcie's very much in the paint. And if you go look at Romy's highlights there, a lot of her shot selections come from outside, kind of mid-range jumpers here and there. So Jose's already hitting the ground running, which is just fantastic to see. That man does not sleep. That man is already, I think, traveling internationally as well for some recruiting overseas. So we'll see what he can kind of muster up and what the team's going to look like next year. We touched on it on Monday. There's not, I mean, obviously replacing Dulcie and Elena are two pivotal pieces to all-region, all-Americans for USF women's basketball. But you're bringing back a lot of other pieces that were very pivotal that just need to, you know, take it to the next level. You know, Sammy finding a few interior shots and you know, pulling the trigger a little quicker at times. Ariel Wilson hopefully finding shot selections. You know, Emma Johansson can find a role in this team, et cetera, et cetera. So they're at a good spot. I look forward to watching the at USF women's basketball recruiting Twitter account. Those are some excellent tweets that they have throughout the year. And again, not going to talk about men's basketball tonight. That is for another time when shit is not hitting the fan, or when things are more normalized, or when when we decide to be a normal school for once. I wish I had the meme ready of the parent who's like, why can't you be normal? And the kid's just in the backseat screaming. I feel like that's us at times with USF. But lo and behold, we're going to move onward and upward to our racket sports. We got our men's tennis program, which I'm going to spend about 30 seconds here ranting and raving about how amazing of a coach Ashley Fisher is. Consistently year in and year out, this team is to the top of their game, playing extremely well week in and week out. And I think at first, at the beginning of the season, they had a rough patch to start the year, a few road losses, a few tough pieces. And someone asked Ashley on Twitter and was like, "Yo, coach, like, what's going on? Like, you guys are normally like a consistent, like, top program, winning all these games and, coming out hot and coming out firing, and you guys are struggling right now." And he basically said, "Give me a minute, like, it'll be fine." And when you give him a minute, he ends up doing pretty fine. So men's tennis this past week and today, even because of this extended show, had a pretty good week. They improved their record to 10-9 on the year. Strangely enough, they fell in the rankings. I believe last week they were number 58. Currently, they are number 60 in the ITA tennis rankings that come out every Tuesday. But they should go back up this week, especially after two very solid wins here. They beat UAB 4-3 this past weekend, I should say. Again, a great win, a great victory for our men's tennis program here. That was only the fourth loss by UAB on the entire season. So again, a great tough opponent that battled and just gave USF everything they could handle there. And so they won the doubles point. USF won the doubles point. Eric Revelius and Alvin Tudoroka, who have been just on fire in doubles this year, got the points going there. Thomas Pavlikovich Smith and Tom Pisane gave us the doubles point right off the bat. Singles didn't come as easily. Bulls were up 2-0. Bruno won his singles match pretty quickly. Eric Revelius lost his match. Tom Pisane lost his match. Elijah Chan won his match to retake the lead. David Tortera had to really battle and ended up sealing the victory for USF. His went into a third court tiebreaker, and Alvin Tudorica finished but lost 5-7, 6-1, 4-6. So it really took a lot out of USF to get a victory there. And they followed it right back up with another tough opponent. They had to face FAU today, and this game actually finished, I think, about an hour and a half ago. So I don't have the stats as well put out normally because, again, this happened earlier today. But they ended up losing the doubles point. But thankfully, Bulls in the singles sets are doing pretty well this year. Bruno sealed the victory for USF in a third court tiebreaker, which I was actually watching live because curiosity kills the cat sometimes. And I apologize. And this actually avenges a earlier loss to FAU on the season. So this team is just humming right now. They're moving along at a blistering pace, and they'll move up the tennis rankings. Looking at the rest of the conference, you have your usual tennis cohorts there. So the Tulsas, the UCFs. SMU's up there as well. So, a tough conference slate to come, a tough conference tournament on our horizon as well. But with Ashley Fisher at the helm, anything is possible. Where is that Kevin Durant meme when you need it? Of course, I don't have any access to anything for this show, so flying absolutely blind getting this recording out. And moving onward and upward to our women's team, another double header sweep for women's tennis. I'm going to go on record with a public apology to USF women's tennis coach Christine Moros. Last season, as famously called and as famously said by myself, after a very poor year, and I think she would probably agree, the USF women's tennis had only won 7 matches all of last year. I said, there might be time for some fresh blood in the women's tennis program. Knowing that we were probably going to have to make some other changes in some other programs, and you might want to just go ahead and get this one out of the woodwork, out of the sheath, and just go ahead and get that one done. I called for her to get fired, and then she went on to make it to the semifinals of the AAC conference tournament after upsetting UCF, top seeded and I think like top 20 ranked UCF in women's tennis. And this season, they've absolutely turned on the burners. They're currently 9-5. So they've already doubled their win totals from last year. Or not doubled. They've already surpassed their win totals from last year. Another 2 victories under their belt there. Started with a sweep against Cincinnati, 7-0 sweep against a conference opponent. I will always take. And truthfully, they just absolutely dominated Cincinnati from start to finish. They went unfinished, or the 2 doubles courts that they won handedly, and then the third court, Najib Bay Christians and Marta Falsetto Font went unfinished, even though they were about, I think, a point away from winning that one. They won every single, basically all but, and I'm looking at the numbers here, they won all but 2 courts or 2 sets on the singles courts. Only 2 drop sets is just absolutely fantastic to see. Everything was basically just a sweep of courts. Great victory all around to bring it into the Sunday game against Wichita State, who Wichita State at the time was ranked number 62 in the country. So that was going to be a battle. At the time, USF, I think, was newly ranked at number 64. So technically an upset. USF battled Wichita State, won 4-3. USF once again won the doubles point. They're starting to turn things back around there. And then just gritted out a really good singles court victory all across the board. USF was down in a 2-1 hole after 2 quick singles court losses by Ireland Simi and Cleona Walsh. But then Sierra Berry, who I will always say is really fucking good at tennis, ended up retying the match. Laura Pellissier put us in the lead, and then Grace Schumacher secured the dub. For not so great reasons. Grace Schumacher was actually she was up 5-4 in the second set after losing the first set, and then her opponent had to quit due to an injury. So that wasn't great. But a win is a win in this godforsaken world. And a good thing it did happen because, well, not good thing it did happen, but good thing that that opponent had to withdraw because Marta Falsetto Font actually ended up losing her set. So USF would have actually, looking at the score, there was a chance that USF was going to lose that game, but they didn't. So that's in the past. They got a game this Friday against DePaul, and that will, get them a little bit closer to this conference tournament. Again, it's a very stacked. Justin, we're not going to talk about that. They got the AAC women's tournament, and the AAC teams are pretty stacked this year. So this should be a good battle to see who can secure a good little margin of victory and maybe get an at-large bid at the NCAA women's tournament for tennis. We are 13 minutes in. We are moving and grooving, which is just fantastic for me to really get this party going. Moving into our fun little stick ball, tiny ball sports on very long courses. Women's golf is still just chilling, still just hanging out there. Probably hitting some chips, hitting some greeners, pounding some brewskis on a back nine, the usual. They're hanging out until the Chattanooga Classic, which is I think next week. So they're just hanging out April 2nd through the 4th, just very extended period off. And luckily, because of the change of schedule in our show, I'm able to talk about our men's golf final full round. Normally, we do those in the middle of the round, which make it really awkward transitions week in and week out. But they spent the week up in Kennesaw, Georgia at the Linger Longer Invitational. And I swear to you, that is real. The Linger Longer Invitational, hosted by Kennesaw State. Just an absolutely loaded field. There were 7 ranked programs, including the number 1 team in the country, Vanderbilt. So, it's a tough course, apparently, too, looking at the rest of the field. Alabama clearly, or except not clearly, Alabama ran away with it. I think they were 20 under, but everyone else was just paced at not so great scores. USF finished tied 8th out of 16 teams, which is I would say is pretty good considering the loaded field that they had. Jake Peacock paced the Bulls at a tied 18th finish at 2 over. The rest of the pack, Chase Gillickson at tied 40th at 7 over, and everyone just kind of filled in after that. So I would think a performance that they'll take, but also, Steve Bradley probably knows they need to, probably compete a little bit better at those types of tournaments in a loaded field like that. But looking at his quotes after the match and after the round, it seemed like he was pretty okay with how they performed, especially under a tough circumstance like that. So next up, they have the Wofford Classic up in North Carolina. That'll be April 3rd and 4th. So again, they have next week off. They'll be back the week after. And thus ends tiny ball sports. We'll move into a slightly larger ball sport. Baseball finished, is currently on the week since last time we did this, is 3-3 over the last 6 games that they played. They are 8-14 overall. So again, finding themselves in a hole that they desperately need to find their way out of. Started the week off a little rough. Lost to Dartmouth 5-1 on Tuesday. Overall, and I'll say it point blank. I'll say it. I'll be not nice about it. Not a good loss at all. Not a Dartmouth came into this game 0-for-11. They hadn't won a game yet. We were their first win on the year. They were giving up a shit ton of runs and a shit ton of scores, and wasn't pitching well and wasn't doing well, and really just honestly an inexcusable loss. Nolan Huddy got the start for USF there. He started 4 innings, had 6 hits, 5 earned runs, and 4 strikeouts. Tanner Main came in relief, got 3 innings pitched, 3 strikeouts. Bulls overall left 10 runners on base. Again, not good. Got to get some more timely hitting there going. They did get a little bit of redemption, but I don't know if it's technically redemption at that point. They won 4-3 on that Wednesday. Again, won, but you still didn't do it in a convincing way. Bulls were up 4-2 after 8 innings there, and Dartmouth added a solo home run in the bottom of the 9th to bring it to a 4-3 win. Again, they just really need to figure out this pitching situation. At times they're getting good quality starts, and at times they're getting a lot of strikeouts, and at times they're pitching really, really well. And then there are times where they just shit the bed and have a bad inning. And then at that point, the wheels kind of fall off and the hitting doesn't become consistent after that. I think it's a lot of confidence. I think it's a lot of, seniors and older guys need to step up into a better role here to lead the team. But moving into the weekend series, they did play Army. Salute the troops there. A great victory on Friday, a fun victory, I should say. They won 8-7. They were down 7-1, and the Bulls battled back starting from the 6th to take the victory there. John Montez hit a walk-off solo shot in the 9th to seal the dub, which was just fantastic to see. That highlight of it is one to watch. If you need a little motivation, go ahead and watch that. Chandler Dorsey ended up actually getting the win after only pitching 0.2 innings. He recorded just 1 strikeout. Ethan Boogie Brown got the start there, gave up those 7 runs. 5 of them were unearned. So again, got to figure out these earned run issues. There's a lot of mental mistakes that happen there, and pitch selection's got to get better, whatever it needs to be. On Saturday, they got the series win. They won 5-3. John Montez got another game-winning home run, which is just fantastic. He got a 3-run home run in the 5th to put the Bulls ahead 5-3 to actually seal the victory there. The Bulls did get a quality start out of their pitcher, which was, again, good to see. Hunter Mink got 6 innings pitched, gave up those 3 earned runs, and had 8 strikeouts. And his brother Tanner came in for relief there to, kind of seal the get him out of a jam. And then Caleb Punsack got the save there at the end. But alas, no sweep on Sunday. They lost 6-1. They did get another quality start, but they just couldn't find any bats out of that. Jack Siebert got the start, 6 innings, 5 hits, 2 runs unearned, with, again, another 8 strikeouts. So either striking them out or letting them get some runs, no in-betweens. The Bulls actually led early. John Montez, who had a fantastic weekend, led the Bulls with a sac fly in the top of the first, but then we got absolutely nothing after that. So not great. Oh, we're doing a solo show, Brock. Let me tell you, it's just Steeg laying down some dulcet tones. I might hit a Steely Dan reference here in a minute. And then the other night, I think it was last night, only stash, the only fans here. The other night on Tuesday, the Bulls traveled to Fort Myers to take on number 20 ranked Florida Gulf Coast, who is on a really, really hot start of the year. Don't want to bog into the details. Bulls were able to make it a game a little bit late, a little too late, too little, too late kind of deal. But again, they lost 5-3. So the tough schedule at the start is not helping USF, and I think in a traditional sense. Maybe if some guys decided to come back for a year and you're able to build upon some positives from last year, this tough start to the year might be resume boosters, but at this point I think it's just confidence knockers. So they really need this upcoming home series against Virginia Commonwealth, VCU, really just kind of need to build upon consistency at the plate, on the mound, finding a good 3-man rotation, finding a closer, finding a guy, finding guys in the bullpen that can come in for relief. I think there's quite a lot of issues and not enough issues that I think I would put, Billy Mole on a hot seat or anything like that. Again, he's a phenomenal coach. He's done a lot of really good things for USF, and his recruiting has been out of this world. But to a point, we can only make a excuse about, the players leaving for the MLB or getting drafted or anything like that up to a certain point, because you got to just keep on loading and reloading. And it is the state of Florida. So you'll always get quality guys that want to stay home and want to, play around home here. So overall, not too terribly concerned. I think there are some people that want USF to be competing a little bit, with a winning record right now, but they are competing quite well and quite admirably against a really tough schedule. So we'll see how they do. They have a very quick turnaround. They only have this VCU series until conference play. So, dire straits, gotta figure out some of the issues that they're having. And then moving into our softball program, that is again on the bends up right now. They went 4-3 over the past weekend. They are 19-15 overall. So Ken Erickson seems to have found his groove with this program. Justin, I'll get to that question after my softball ask here, and I'll read it out loud. But softball over the week. Oh, thank you, sentient being who is here for this. In terms of new programs, Women Lax has a great presence on Twitter, but we haven't seen much about beach volleyball. Haven't heard anything about them. So for right now, USF Women's Lacrosse has benefit of having, what's the plainest way I can say this, a coaching staff that is running that Twitter account. So right now there is not an SID or a sports information director running those accounts or anything like that. That is straight McCord and her husband running that account and doing everything. And so once our friends get hired for beach volleyball, we'll probably start seeing that pick up a little bit as well. You'll notice that account really only gets used when they're doing their typical, happy holidays from USF baseball and USF football and USF women's lacrosse. That's really the only time that account's getting used right now. That's when they kind of do the overall blast of things, or if they just need to retweet something from the USF Athletics account. But once they hire the coach, we'll probably bring on our friend the Live Oak to discuss potential head coaching candidates there. I'm sure that account will start gaining traction. They're still like another year and a half away from even starting, that program. So no rush. I think they're bigger fish to fry for Michael Kelly at this point. There's bigger fish to fish in the pond. But yes, back to softball. They had these Florida Showdown this past weekend. They were really, really absolutely reaching for names when they do these little tournaments. But the South Florida Showdown, they had a lot of games. Every single one of these teams played each other. I think USF played 5 games. So they probably played 25 games over the weekend. Kind of a loaded field as well. It got started on Friday afternoon. They had an 8-7 victory over Lehigh in 8 innings to get the weekend started. Jaden Martinez got the start. Peyton Dixon got the win. As per usual, Peyton Dixon, just an absolute all-star pitcher right now. Quite a back and forth affair. Lehigh started to lead 2-0. Bulls led 4-2 after the third. We were leading 6-2 after the fourth. Lehigh retook the lead 7-8 with a home run in the fifth inning and some more timely hitting in the seventh. And then the Bulls tied the game on a Marissa Trevor piece RBI double in the bottom of the seventh to put this in extra innings. And then Kathy Garcia Soto got the game-winning RBI single in the eighth to give USF Bulls a victory. If only that was the best game-winning hit of the weekend. She saved it for later that evening, actually. Friday evening, they took on number 11 and number 9, Texas, and won 4-3 with a big fucking dub. A fantastic win to put under their belt against a very, very quality Texas program. Antoinette Hill got the start there. Vivian Pond got the win after and for relief for the last 2 innings there. The Bulls led 1-0 after the first, after Camila Ortez Martinez got an RBI single. They added 2 more runs when Camila Ortez Martinez got a 2 RBI double. But then Texas tied the game in the fourth and the fifth. Kathy Garcia Soto with a game-winning solo home run at the bottom of the seventh. Again, if you want to get hype, go watch that John Montez home run against Army and then follow it up with a Kathy Garcia Soto game-winning home run to defeat Texas. Fantastic to watch back-to-back. And I think they happened pretty shortly close to each other. I think Kathy got hers first, and then John Montez, I think, was about 45 an hour after. Leading into Saturday, they continued rolling 3 wins. They got their third, I should say. They defeated Marist 6-2. Very quickly took the lead, didn't look back at all. Peyton Dixon got the start and the win. What else is new? Those 2 runs that Marist scored were both unearned. So great to see the Bulls there. They collected 13 hits overall against Marist. So really just kind of fucking trounced them for a little bit. Saturday afternoon, it didn't fare as well. They had a 12-4 loss against Iowa, which is really unfortunate because the Bulls were actually winning 4-0 after 2 innings. And then Iowa scored 12 answered to mercy rule us very shortly thereafter. Those 6 runs that Iowa scored in the 6th just put the needle over the match there. And I think I think Ken strategically kind of used up some extra bullpen arms to just go ahead into that game. Bulls used about 5 pitchers that game. They handling out a 3 RBI double in the second to just really get things rolling for USF. But after that, they just couldn't muster any other hits. And then Saturday afternoon, Texas got some revenge. They beat USF 6-1. Much different experience. The Bulls were actually getting no hit up in the 7th inning until Tisley Vaughn got a solo home run. Lexi Kopko got the start. 4 innings pitched, 7 hits, only one earned run out of that. So a very timely USF loss there. But they're rolling. They've got another loaded schedule coming up that I actually do not have off the top of my head because I didn't write it down. But you can expect 4 to 5 games being played in a particular weekend at any particular time for softball at this point. And moving into sailing, they had the Dublin women's team race in Medford, March 25th and 26th, so this weekend. Should see some fun out of that. We're at 29 minutes. We got a fun weekend that track and field did, so we'll round this out pretty quickly here, actually. The USF Bulls Invitational started this weekend, so we are officially into outdoor track and field season. Everything that you'd been hearing before was indoor season. Now we're going to be officially an outdoor season, which is technically a new sport. Don't know how they categorize things. So a 2-day event hosted by USF with quite a loaded field. A lot of Big Ten schools, a few ACC, SEC schools got in the mix as well. And USF had a pretty successful weekend, I would say, all around. Shania Benjamin started it off. She got first place in the women's long jump. Jadeja Baxter got 4th, and Annie Ashley got 6th. Kobe Babin and Stone Baker tied 1st in pole vault. So again, great to see those two who have been just battling and making each other better this entire year. Thank you. Thank you. Softball starts conference play this week, hosting ECU. A better man would have had that ready to go, but that's why we love you guys, and you guys are saving me from this soul show that's killing my vocal cords at this point. Moving backward into track and field, David Ajama got third in the men's long jump. Aaliyah Both got a personal best in hammer throw. She placed fourth. That actually moved her into the USF top 10 all-time throw in shot put as well. So she had a pretty serious week there. I'm hoping that the women's field team can start improving a bit too. Women's track has been phenomenal, but we need those field athletes as well. Sanique Walker got second in women's 400 meters and also got a personal best in those 400-meter hurdles. Arda LaRose got a personal best, sixth all-time at USF in the 800 meters. Chavoy Reed got first in the 200-meter dash. And his first place finish is the fastest time in the NCAA as it currently stands. That is phenomenal that USF has what is, I'm going to say, the fastest 200-meter men's athlete right now in the United States. So that's fantastic. Zaquan Lincoln got third in the same event. Janiah Burton got sixth in the women's 200-meter, and that's a personal best for her. Moved her into eighth all-time at USF. And Cora Coolidge ran a personal best in the women's 5,000 meters, which I'm now realizing is a 5K. So holy shit. That is, I've been running 5Ks for a couple of weeks here to train for an upcoming event. And yeah, I could not imagine that PB time just would blow me out of the fucking water. Day two, again, a couple victories under our podium just for USF here. Lauren Johnson got started, got fourth in the triples jump. Annie Ashley got fourth in the high jump. There was the big question. Romaine Beckford did not jump for USF at this USF Invitational. I could beat pickleball. I'll say that much. Yes, Romaine Beckford did not jump for this weekend. Probably some timely resting for after his national championship that he got a couple weeks ago. Do not blame him at all. USF got third in the women's 4x100 meters. So Janiah Burton, Shania Benjamin, Jadeja Baxter, and Hannah Connell. USF got third as well in the men's 4x100 meters, puts them third all time. Zaquan Lincoln, Chavoy Reed, Monte Parker, and Danielson. Oh God, I practiced this one earlier. Danielson Mahoutier. That is absolutely wrong, but I'm going to run with it anyways. Chakia Plummer got first in the women's 100-meter hurdles. Michael Bourne got third in the men's 100-meter hurdles. Kayla Hug, fourth in the women's 400-meter. Elijah Wright, third in the men's 400-meter. And then Zaquan Lincoln, rounding it out, fourth in the men's 100-meter. So again, a loaded field, a lot of good podium finishes, a lot of good first-place finishes as well. Again, build a statue for Eric Jenkins outside the track stadium because what he's done for this track and field program is just absolutely incredible. So moving up for USF, they do have March 31st through April 1st. They have the Florida Relays in Gainesville. I have yet to see who has been in that field, and I tried to do a little bit of research of just a stream of me trying to pronounce. You should hear me try to pronounce some of our women's golf athletes. That's a whole other animal at this point. So they have the March 31st through April 1st. They have the Florida Relays in Gainesville. Again, can't find any information on if who's actually participating in the event. I don't even know if Florida's actually participating in the event because last time there was an event in Gainesville, UF did not participate, which is just strange to me. So such ends our roundup and our recap of everything that happened over the weekend. And it's pretty easy who I would probably assume is going to be my fella and Bella of the week. Fella, it goes to the fastest man in the NCAA right now, Chavoy Reed, with a 200-meter dash that puts him into first place in the NCAA for track right now. Pretty easy choice for him. He's been absolutely phenomenal this year and going to become a household name, I'm feeling, in the future. And the Bella, Kathy Garcia Soto, you get 2 game-winning, you hit 2 game winners, you won the Bella of the week. Pretty plain and simple. Normally, I'd probably do Sierra Berry, who is continuously really fucking good at tennis, but trying to switch it up every once in a while. But after a tight 35 minutes, the solo Steeg show has ended. Next week, we'll try to get back on schedule unless USF men's basketball decides to make a change or make an update here. But that is it for our show tonight. Thank you for tuning in. I love you all. Good night. Go Bulls and watch Survivor.